Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Take Five. Thank you so much for getting up early and watching these with me. And we are in Exodus chapter 22, and we're going to go verses 18 through 24. All right. And oh, I don't know if I'm getting out of the way of the camera. I got to check the camera again because I moved. Let me see. All right, I'm still good. All right. And one of these verses will actually apply to you. And so you're going to see this here in a minute. But verse 18, do not allow a sorceress to live. Now, sorceress would be equivalent to a witch nowadays, obviously. God did not allow that. And you see how serious the punishment is on some of these sins. You kill them. Okay, we didn't have that, or they didn't have that tolerance that we have nowadays, show tolerance to people. No, you kill them. Look for 19. Anyone who has sexual relations with an animal is to be put to death. And they would I imagine those shepherds would get lonely out there in the wilderness with their sheep and stuff, but they weren't allowed to do something with an animal. And if you caught them doing it, you killed them. Verse 20, whoever sacrifices to any god other than the Lord must be destroyed. So God's a jealous God, and he wants worship for just himself. So he wouldn't put up with that, and you kill him. All right, pretty violent God. You probably didn't know all this about God. Verse 21, do not mistreat or oppress a foreigner, for you were foreigners in Egypt. Now, I told you some of this would apply to you. See, so God is looking out for everybody here. All right, see, he's trying to combat racism. So even way back here in the Bible, you see there's a potential for racism. And so even though you're sort of a foreigner here in the United States, even though you're a U.S. citizen, God is looking out for you. And he says, don't mistreat him. Now, it doesn't say what the punishment is for him, but look at this next verse. Verse 22, do not take advantage of the widow or the fatherless. All right, and why would God say that? Because these are the people that are the weakest. These are the people that are the most vulnerable, the very old and the very young, the children. God's always looked out for the very old and the very young. Verse 23, if you do, and they cry out to me, I will certainly hear their cry. My anger will be aroused, and I will kill you with the sword. Your wives will become widows, and your children fatherless. God is so upset when people take advantage of the widow or the fatherless. That'd be orphans, like you were. If somebody had taken advantage of you, God would have been so upset, he would have personally killed that person. And then, of course, if he kills them, if they have kids, their children become fatherless. So I don't think you're ever going to have an issue. I think you're always going to care for the orphans and the widows. You have just such a tender heart. But you see, God has that same heart. And he's willing to punish it if we do that. And there are people that want to take advantage of the less fortunate than them. And God is not happy when that happens. Okay, I told you that's as far as we go today. So thank you for watching. We went long yesterday, so a little short today. Come back tomorrow for the next edition of Take 5.